Story 1. I've been flying for work about twice a month for the past 4 years. I'm a software consultant, which means I get sent to different client sites across the country to help companies upgrade their systems. It's exhausting, honestly. The constant travel, living out of hotels, eating airport food. But it pays well, and I've got student loans from my computer science degree that aren't going to pay themselves off. About 2 years ago, I decided to go vegetarian. It started as a health thing after my doctor warned me about my cholesterol, but I ended up sticking with it for ethical reasons too. My girlfriend is vegan, and she got me thinking about things differently. Anyway, when you're vegetarian and you fly as much as I do, you learn pretty quickly that you need to plan ahead. Airport food is already limited, and airplane food is even worse. Most standard airline meals are some variation of chicken or beef, maybe pasta if you're lucky, but it's usually got meat sauce. That's why I always pre-order the vegetarian meal option online when I book my flights. It's a simple checkbox during the booking process. The meals aren't amazing, usually some kind of vegetable curry or pasta primavera, but at least I know I'll have something to eat on long flights. And on most flights, the flight attendants bring out the special meals first before they start the regular meal service. It makes sense logistically since there are fewer special meals and they're marked separately. This particular flight was from Seattle to Boston, a 6-hour journey. I had an early morning meeting the next day, so I'd booked the evening flight to try and get some sleep. I was in the middle seat of a 3-seat row, which already wasn't ideal. Window seat was occupied by a teenage kid with headphones who'd fallen asleep before we even took off. And then she arrived. The woman taking the aisle seat was probably in her 50s, wearing what looked like expensive business clothes and carrying a designer bag. She gave me a tight smile as she struggled to shove her oversized carry-on into the overhead bin, even though it clearly didn't fit properly. Excuse me, you'll need to move so I can get to my seat. I stood up and stepped into the aisle to let her pass. She settled in, immediately spreading out her stuff, her purse encroaching well into my foot space, her elbow firmly planted on our shared armrest. The flight took off without incident. I pulled out my laptop, planning to get some work done before the meal service. About 2 hours into the flight, I could see the flight attendants starting to prepare the beverage and meal carts at the front of the cabin. A few minutes later, a flight attendant approached our row carrying 2 labeled meals. "Flight attendant, I have the vegetarian meal." "Me, that's me, thank you." She handed me my meal tray and then delivered another special meal to someone a few rows back. I opened up the tray. Vegetable curry with rice, a small salad, a bread roll, and a brownie. Standard stuff. I pulled down my tray table, arranged my meal, and started eating. The curry was decent, actually better than some I'd had on previous flights. I was maybe 3 bites in when I felt her staring at me. I glanced over. "Are you seriously eating right now?" "Me. Yes, they just brought my meal." "I can see that. And you don't think that's incredibly rude?" I stopped mid-bite, genuinely confused. "Me, I'm sorry, what?" "You're eating before the rest of us have even gotten our food. That's inconsiderate and rude." I literally could not believe what I was hearing. "Me? They brought me my meal. Was I supposed to just let it sit here and get cold?" "It's basic manners to wait until everyone in your row has their food before you start eating. We're sharing this space. The least you could do is show some respect." "Me, we're on an airplane. We're not at a dinner table together." "That doesn't matter. It's common courtesy." Her voice was getting louder. The kid by the window stirred but didn't wake up. A few other passengers were starting to glance our way. "Me, look, I pre-ordered a special meal because I'm vegetarian. They always bring those out first. This is how it works on every flight." "Well, I think it's selfish. You could wait 10 minutes for the rest of us to get our meals. But no, you just have to start eating immediately because you think you're special." Her face was getting red now. She rolled her eyes dramatically. "People like you are what's wrong with society. No consideration for others. Just me. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Me, I'm going to eat my meal now. You're welcome to look away if it bothers you. Her. Oh, so now you're dismissing me. Typical. You've completely ruined my flight experience. I was trying to relax, and now I have to sit here watching you eat while I'm starving. Me. The meal cart is literally 3 rows away. You'll have your food in about 5 minutes. Her. That's not the point. She crossed her arms and turned away from me dramatically, letting out loud sighs every few seconds. I continued eating, though my appetite was pretty much gone at this point. True to my estimate, the flight attendants reached our row about 5 minutes later. Flight attendant, and for you, the chicken or the pasta? Her, chicken. The flight attendant handed her the meal tray. She snatched it and put it on her tray table, then immediately turned back to me. Her, I hope you enjoyed your meal while the rest of us waited. Some of us know how to behave in public. I didn't respond. I'd already finished eating and was packing up my trash. Then she opened her chicken meal and the smell hit us both. Anyone who's flown knows that airplane chicken has a very particular smell. She wrinkled her nose but started eating anyway, making exaggerated chewing noises. About halfway through her meal, she pressed the call button. A flight attendant appeared. Flight attendant, how can I help you? Her, this chicken is dry and cold. I'd like a replacement meal. Flight attendant, I apologize, but we've already distributed all the meals. I don't have any extra chicken. Her, well, do you have anything else? Flight attendant, I have 1 vegetarian meal left over if you'd like that instead. Her face went through several expressions. She glanced at my empty tray, then back at the flight attendant. Her, no, I don't want a vegetarian meal. Flight attendant, then I'm afraid there's nothing else I can offer you. I can bring you some extra snacks if that would help. Her, this is unacceptable. First, I have to deal with him eating before everyone else, and now my meal is terrible and there's no replacement. The flight attendant gave me a sympathetic look. Flight attendant, sir, I'm sorry if there was any confusion. Special meals are always served first. That's our standard procedure. Me? No worries. I appreciate you bringing it when you did. The flight attendant left. The woman sat there fuming, picking at her dry chicken. After a few minutes of angry silence, she tried one more time. Her, you know, if you had just waited like a decent person, we could have had a pleasant flight together. Maybe even had a nice conversation over our meals. Me, I don't think that was ever going to happen. Her, excuse me. Me, you've been hostile since the moment you sat down. You took the entire armrest. Your bag is in my foot space, and you've been acting like I personally offended you by existing in this seat. My eating schedule wasn't the problem here. Her face went even redder. Her, how dare you? I'm going to report you to the airline. Me, for eating the meal they served me? Sure, go ahead. She didn't say another word to me for the rest of the flight. She finished her dry chicken in angry silence, then pulled out her phone and started typing furiously, probably composing a complaint email that would go absolutely nowhere. When we landed, she grabbed her stuff and pushed past me without a word, nearly hitting me with her bag in the process. The kid by the window finally woke up and stretched. Him, did I miss something? Me, nothing important. I grabbed my bag and headed off the plane, already dreading the morning meeting but glad to be done with that flight. Some people really do think the world revolves around them. Story 2. I had been working retail for about 7 years when I finally got promoted to supervisor at a small clothing store in the mall. It was not glamorous, but after years of being on the bottom rung, having a title that came with 50 extra cents an hour felt like a win. I had worked my way up from seasonal help during college to full-time, and now I was the person they called when things went wrong, which was often. The promotion came right when I needed it most. My roommate had just moved out without warning, sticking me with double rent until I could find someone new. My car was making a noise that definitely meant expensive repairs were coming. I could not afford to lose this job, so I followed every rule, documented everything, and tried to keep my head down. It was a Tuesday afternoon, middle of the week, and the mall was pretty dead. I was alone at the register because we were always understaffed. Company policy was one person until it got busy, which meant I was constantly doing 6 things at once. Ringing up customers, folding clothes people left in the fitting rooms, answering the phone, watching for shoplifters. The usual. A woman came up to the counter with some returns and a few new items. Standard transaction. Nothing weird about her at first. While I was processing everything, her kid was playing with one of those cheap bracelet sets we kept near the register. The kind that cost maybe $5. The child was maybe 5 or 6 years old, just entertaining herself while her mother dealt with adult stuff. We finished the transaction. I handed over her receipt and bags. "Mom, okay, give the bracelet to the lady. Let's go." The kid actually handed it back to me without any fuss. I put it back on the display. "Me, thank you." They walked toward the door, and I thought that was it. I turned to start organizing the mess of clothes someone had left in the fitting room. Then I heard footsteps running back into the store. The kid had come back, looking around frantically. The mom followed a few seconds later, looking annoyed. The child started crying, saying she wanted the bracelet. I figured the mom would handle it. Parents deal with this kind of thing all the time, right? I went back to folding shirts, trying to give them space. But then the kid ran behind the counter, behind my register, where customers are absolutely not supposed to be. She started digging through my stuff. The bags we used for purchases, the clothes I had set aside for restocking, everything. I looked at the mom, expecting her to do something. The mom just stood on the other side of the counter with this tired expression. "Mom, come on, we have to go." She said it in that soft voice, like she was gently suggesting something instead of actually parenting. The kid completely ignored her and kept tearing through my work area. Hey, if you want to come back here and grab her, that's fine." The mom did not reply, did not move, just stood there. Now I had a problem. Behind the counter we kept pins for security tags, sharp ones. We also had box cutters, staplers, all kinds of stuff a small child should not be around. Plus I had other customers walking in, and I needed to be able to do my job. The kid was running around back there like it was a playground. I tried to gently guide her back toward the front, but she dodged me and tried to hide behind a rack of clothes we kept in the back area. I stuck my arm out to block her from running further into the storage area where we kept even more dangerous equipment. The scream that came out of this child could have shattered glass. That high-pitched toddler shriek that makes your ears ring. She wailed like I had actually hurt her, which I absolutely had not. I barely touched her arm. I looked at the mom, expecting her to finally step in. She was staring at me with this look of pure anger. "Mom, well, that was embarrassing." Then she just glared at me, like I was the problem, like I was the one who had let her kid run wild in a store. The child bolted away from me and threw herself on the floor in the middle of the store, screaming and crying. A full meltdown. Other customers were staring now. The mom still just stood there, watching, doing nothing. I am not a parent. I do not have kids. But I was pretty sure that when your child is having a tantrum in public, you are supposed to remove them from the situation. Take them outside, calm them down somewhere private. Not just stand there and let them scream on the floor of a clothing store while other people are trying to shop. I had 2 other customers waiting now, both looking uncomfortable. I helped them as quickly as I could while this child continued wailing in the background. The mom eventually picked her up and carried her out, but not before giving me one more dirty look. As soon as they left, I went to the back room and emailed my district manager. I explained exactly what happened, that I had blocked the child from going into a dangerous area, that I had not hurt her, that the mother had refused to control her kid. I knew how this worked. If that woman decided to complain and say I had injured her child, I needed my side of the story documented first. My district manager emailed me back the next day. I got a slap on the wrist. She said I should never touch a customer's child under any circumstances. Next time I should just let them play in the bin of sharp pins. Apparently, that was the message I got from it. 2 days later, I was working again when I saw them come back into the store. The same mom, the same kid. I immediately grabbed my manager. "Me, that's the woman from the email. I'm not dealing with this." My manager nodded and told me to handle the register while she kept an eye on them. Sure enough, the kid was on the other end of the store pulling on our mannequins while the mom browsed and completely ignored her. My manager walked over. "Manager, please don't touch our displays." She said it nicely, not aggressive at all, just a basic request. The mom stormed up to the counter, threw a shirt down, and looked right at me. "Mom, well, I didn't see anything today anyway." Then she left. My manager stood there for a second, then looked at me. "Manager, I think she's trying to get us to do something she can sue over. If she comes back, we might need to ban her." I agreed completely, but what really got me was that my district manager later clarified her warning. She did not want employees intervening with children because she would rather the company get sued than an individual employee. So basically, let the kid get hurt and let corporate deal with the lawsuit. That was the actual policy. I started looking for a new job that night. Story 3. I've been working as a barista at Downtown Coffee House for about 3 years now. It's not glamorous work, but it pays my bills while I finish my degree in graphic design at the community college. I take night classes twice a week and work morning shifts at the cafe, which actually works out pretty well for my schedule. The owner is flexible with my hours, and my coworkers are decent people. One thing I actually enjoy about this job is making latte art. It started as just something to pass the time during slow periods, but I got pretty good at it over the years. I can do hearts, rosettas, tulips, even some more complex designs when I have the time and patience. Customers usually love it. I get compliments all the time, people taking photos of their drinks for social media, that sort of thing. It makes the job feel a little more creative than just pushing buttons on an espresso machine. My route to this job was kind of random, honestly. I spent 2 years after high school working retail at a clothing store, hated every second of it, and finally decided I needed to do something different with my life. I had always been into art and design, so I enrolled in community college and started looking for work that felt less soul-crushing than folding shirts for minimum wage. The coffee shop seemed like a better fit, and it has been for the most part. This particular Tuesday morning started out completely normal. We had the usual rush of commuters between 7 and 9. Then things slowed down like they always do mid-morning. I was wiping down the counter when she walked in. She was probably in her mid-40s, wearing workout clothes that looked expensive, carrying a yoga mat, and had that specific energy that immediately put me on edge. I had dealt with enough difficult customers to recognize the type. "Me, good morning. What can I get for you?" Her, "I need a grand skinny vanilla latte with oat milk. Extra hot, and I mean extra hot, not your regular temperature." Me, "No problem. That will be $6.50. She handed me her credit card and I rang her up. I made her drink exactly to specifications, extra hot like she asked, and took my time with the latte art. I poured a nice rosetta pattern on top. It came out really well, actually. Clean lines, good contrast. I put the lid on the side of the cup like we always do and called out her order. Me, grand skinny vanilla latte with oat milk. She walked up and grabbed her drink. I watched as she took the lid off to add some cinnamon from our condiment bar. Then she just stood there, staring down at her cup. Her, "Excuse me." Me, "Yes." Her, "What is this?" Me, "That's your latte." Her, "I can see it's a latte. I'm talking about this design." Me, "Oh, that's just latte art. It's a rosetta pattern." Her, "It looks judgmental." I genuinely thought I had misheard her. Me, "I'm sorry, what?" Her, "This design. It looks like it's judging me. The way the foam is arranged, it has a very negative energy. I glanced at my coworker who was restocking cups. She looked back at me with wide eyes, clearly trying not to laugh. Me, it's just foam. It's a standard latte art design. Her, don't patronize me. I know what I'm looking at. This is passive-aggressive and completely unacceptable. I want a new drink. Me, the drink itself is made correctly. I can remake it without any design if you prefer. Her, no, I want a completely new drink and I want someone else to make it. My manager heard the commotion and walked over. Manager, is there a problem? Her, yes, there's a problem. Your barista made my drink with hostile artwork. This is harassment. Manager, I'm sorry, I don't understand. The latte art? Her, it's clearly designed to mock me. Look at it. It's smirking. My manager looked down at the cup, then back at her. Manager, I can assure you there was no intent to mock anyone, but we're happy to remake your drink. Her, that's not good enough. I want him fired. Me, for making latte art? Her, for creating a hostile environment. I come here to relax before yoga and I'm being attacked. Manager, nobody is attacking you. We can remake the drink or refund your money. Those are your options. Her, no, I'm placing him under citizen's arrest. There was a moment of stunned silence. My coworker actually laughed out loud before covering her mouth. Me, you're doing what now? Her, citizen's arrest. You're detained by my authority. Manager, that's not how that works. You need to either accept a remake or a refund and leave the store. Her, I'm not going anywhere until the police arrive. I'm calling them right now. She pulled out her phone and actually started dialing. My manager sighed and gestured for me to go to the back room. I was happy to escape the situation. I could hear her on the phone with the emergency dispatcher from the back room. Her, yes, I need police at downtown coffee house immediately. I'm being threatened by an employee. I've placed him under citizen's arrest and I need backup. Dispatcher, ma'am, what is the nature of the threat? Her, he made aggressive artwork in my coffee. It's psychological warfare. I heard the dispatcher say something I couldn't quite make out, but her tone suggested she was trying very hard to remain professional. About 15 minutes later, 2 police officers walked into the cafe. I came out from the back to see what was happening. The woman had grabbed the broom from behind our counter and was standing in front of the exit door, holding it horizontally like she was guarding a castle gate. Officer 1, ma'am, we got a call about a disturbance. Her, yes, I've detained this criminal and I'm preventing him from fleeing the scene. She gestured at me with the broom. Officer 2, can someone explain what's going on here? My manager stepped forward. Manager, this customer was upset about the latte art on her drink. We offered to remake it or refund her money. She refused both options, claimed she was placing our employee under citizen's arrest, and has been blocking our exit for the past 15 minutes. Officer 1, ma'am, you need to put down the broom and step away from the door. Her, not until you arrest him for assault. Officer 2, who was assaulted? Her, I was, psychologically, by that offensive foam design. The officers looked at each other. One of them was clearly trying not to smile. Officer 1, ma'am, that's not assault. You need to leave the premises now. Her, I have every right to be here. I'm a paying customer. Officer 2, you're blocking the exit and disrupting business. If you don't leave voluntarily, we'll have to arrest you for disorderly conduct. Her, you can't arrest me. I'm the victim here. Officer 1, last warning. Put down the broom and leave. Her, this is discrimination. I'm calling my lawyer. She pulled out her phone with one hand while still holding the broom with the other. That's when Officer 2 calmly walked over, took the broom from her hand, and his partner moved behind her with handcuffs. Her, don't you touch me. This is police brutality. Officer 1, you're being arrested for disorderly conduct. You have the right to remain silent. He continued reading her rights while she screamed about her lawyer and her rights and how she was the real victim. They escorted her out of the cafe while she was still yelling. Several customers who had been watching the whole thing applauded. My manager turned to me. "Manager, are you okay?" Me. That was the weirdest thing that has ever happened to me. Coworker, the foam was judging her. I'm dying. Manager, let's maybe skip the latte art for the rest of the day. Me. Yeah, probably a good call. One of the officers came back in about 10 minutes later. Officer 2. Just wanted to let you know she'll be spending a few hours at the station cooling off. If she tries to contact you or comes back, call us immediately. Manager. Thank you, officer. Officer 2. Also, for what it's worth, I saw the cup. That was a really nice Rosetta. Me, thanks. I try. He smiled and left. The rest of the day was thankfully uneventful, though the story spread through our regular customers pretty quickly. For weeks afterward, people would jokingly ask me to make sure their latte art looked friendly. I still do latte art, but I can't look at a Rosetta pattern without thinking about judgmental foam. Story 4. I had been living in the city for about a year and a half when I finally felt like things were coming together. After graduating college with a degree in graphic design, I spent months sending out applications and getting nowhere. I ended up working at a coffee shop just to pay rent while doing freelance work on the side. It was exhausting, but slowly I built up enough clients that I could quit the coffee shop and work from home. My boyfriend and I had been together for 2 years, and even though money was tight for both of us, we were happy. His birthday was coming up, and I wanted to do something special. We never went out to fancy places because we were both still paying off student loans and trying to build our savings. But for his 23rd birthday, I figured we could splurge a little. There was this small Italian restaurant he had been talking about for months. It was supposed to have amazing food and a cozy atmosphere. The only catch was they did not take reservations. First come, first serve. So we got there early on a Saturday night, hoping to beat the rush. We still ended up waiting 30 minutes. The place was tiny, maybe 15 tables total, and every single one was packed. But it smelled incredible, and I could see why people were willing to wait. When they finally called us, we got a little 2-person table near the window. Perfect. We ordered a bottle of wine to split and started looking at the menu. I was just starting to relax when I heard the door open and saw a family walk in. A mom, a dad, 2 younger kids who looked maybe 7 and 9, and a teenage boy who had that classic look of a teenager forced to attend a family dinner against his will. The hostess greeted them and said it would be about a 25-minute wait. The mom's face immediately twisted into this annoyed expression. "Mom, 25 minutes. Are you serious? My kids are starving." Hostess, "I'm sorry, ma'am. We're pretty full right now, but I can put your name on the list." The mom looked around the restaurant like she was inspecting it, and then her eyes landed on us. I saw her eyeing our small table, doing the math in her head. "Mom, this is ridiculous. Why are couples taking up tables when families need them?" She said it loud enough that half the restaurant could hear. My boyfriend and I exchanged a look. Surely she was not talking about us. Our table was literally built for 2 people. It was not like we were spread out at some giant booth. But then she started walking toward us. I watched her approach with this sinking feeling in my stomach. She leaned right on our table, putting her hand down next to my wine glass. "Karen, you two don't mind moving so my family can sit, right? You can wait a bit longer. You're young." I genuinely thought she was joking at first, like maybe this was some kind of prank. I looked at my boyfriend and he had this awkward smile on his face, clearly not sure what to say. "Boyfriend, actually it's my birthday." I thought that would be the end of it. Who argues with someone on their birthday? "Karen, then you should be gentleman enough to offer your seat to a mother with hungry children." My jaw dropped. She was serious. Completely serious. Me, we've been waiting for 30 minutes. We just ordered. "Karen, and I have children who need to eat. Surely you understand priorities." The waitress appeared out of nowhere, thank God. Waitress, ma'am, you can't ask other customers to give up their tables. That's not how this works. Karen rolled her eyes so hard I thought they might get stuck. Karen, of course. Nobody has any respect anymore. She walked back to her family, but not before shooting us a look that could have melted steel. Her husband looked absolutely mortified. He mouthed something that looked like sorry to us. The teenage son had his face buried in his phone, clearly wishing he could disappear. We tried to go back to enjoying our meal, but it was hard. She spent the entire time they were waiting shooting glares at us. Every few minutes, I could feel her staring. It made eating incredibly uncomfortable. When they finally got seated at a table on the other side of the restaurant, I thought it would be over. But no. She kept looking over, whispering to her husband loud enough that we could hear snippets. Karen, can you believe them? Just sitting there like they own the place. Karen, we could have been eating by now if people were more considerate. Karen, I would have given up my seat when I was their age. Her husband kept trying to shush her, but she would not let it go. The kids were playing on a tablet, completely oblivious. The teenage son looked like he wanted to crawl under the table. My boyfriend was trying to stay positive, but I could tell it was bothering him. This was supposed to be a nice night, and this woman had turned it into a spectacle. Me, do you want to leave? Boyfriend, no, we're not letting her ruin this. So we stayed. We ordered dessert. We took our time. And every single minute, she kept glaring. Finally, our waitress came over with a piece of tiramisu that we had not ordered. It had a little candle in it. Waitress, happy birthday. This one's on the house. Sorry about the trouble earlier. My boyfriend blew out the candle, and we split the dessert. It was delicious. When we got the check, I noticed the waitress had taken 20% off our bill. As we were getting up to leave, I saw the mom's face. She had seen the candle. She had seen the waitress being nice to us, and she looked absolutely furious. We walked past their table on the way out. Her husband looked up. Husband, happy birthday. Sorry about earlier. Boyfriend, thanks, man. Appreciate it. The mom did not say anything, but her face was bright red. The teenage son gave us a tiny wave, and I swear I saw him mouth good for you. When we got outside, my boyfriend started laughing. Boyfriend, well, that was something. Me, happy birthday, babe. Here's your free side of audacity. He laughed even harder at that. We walked back to the car, and honestly, the whole thing became the funniest part of the night. We spent the drive home imitating her voice and coming up with things she probably said after we left. A few days later, I was looking at reviews for the restaurant online and found one from that weekend. It was a 1-star review from a woman complaining about how the staff let rude customers stay while families with children had to wait. She said the restaurant had no family values and she would never return. The restaurant owner had responded publicly. Owner, we serve all customers equally on a first-come, first-served basis. We do not ask customers to give up their tables. Thank you for your feedback. I showed my boyfriend and we both cracked up. Some people really do think the world revolves around them.